Today I'm going to share something really personal. Why I choose to be a boudoir photographer. It's not about the photos or the pictures. It's about people. And honestly, I didn't fully realize how powerful it was until what I saw I did for women in front of my camera. I've actually been photographing boudoir for a long time. It started out with my wedding clients, brides who wanted to surprise their partner with a special gift. The brides enjoyed the session, and seeing the grooms open the gifts was so amazing. Back then, it was just like a fun bonus. It was exciting. The outfits, the hair, the makeup, all the pretty poses. But it was all very lighthearted. And yes, I enjoyed it, but I really didn't understand the depth of what I was offering. It wasn't until I started hearing my clients' stories that changed how I thought. I heard women tell me that they didn't feel beautiful in years until they saw my photos. Moms who had just had babies who didn't feel sexy anymore. And making them feel sexy is just so powerful. Cancer and abuse survivors claiming they can stand strong again. That is so powerful. Women going through divorces or turning that big 5-0 or reclaiming their bodies after trauma can see themselves in a new light. Something changed during the session. I call it the shift. They stood taller. They smiled wider. They looked at themselves in new eyes. That's when I realized boudoir isn't about being sexy. It's about being seen. It's about being understood for who they are. That shift, that confidence, that empowerment, that's why I keep going. I stayed with boudoir because it fills a space that so many women didn't know they were missing. It's not about Photoshop. It's not about Lightroom. It's not about looking like a magazine model. But you know what? With my photography skills, they do like models. They do look like models. It's about celebrating who they are right now. As a photographer, I am always excited for the brides to see their wedding images. But now with so many images out there, so many people with cell phones posting the images instantly, I feel like I've lost that magical part of weddings where they see the photos. Now I get to see that feeling in back of the camera every time they see their images. And I get to be a part of their transformation. And honestly, it's a gift. So if you're a photographer looking to think about trying boudoir, just do it. Or a woman thinking about stepping in front of the camera, do it. You'll love it. I want you to know there's more than just a photo session. It's a celebration of self-worth. It is powerful. It's emotional and real. I am so grateful I get to do this for every day.